guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live video of the concerts that we get. ABR is next on the list for the 10-year Messengers tour. I hope to be getting full videos of that, so be on the lookout for that. As well as 2016 is coming to a close. I'm hoping to get the most anticipated albums of 2017, obviously the ones that have been announced, and most anticipated tours of 2017, of course, that have been announced as well. But I hope to get those up maybe tomorrow on New Year's Eve if you're going to be watching that. So hopefully you check that out. But without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about Level's new record, Exist. So, I had not heard of this band up until I got an email from Michelle from Artery about a few weeks ago. She was telling me that I should check out their new track, Slip, and they just happen to have a new record out as well. So, I figured I'd give it a listen. It's kind of in my, I would say, similar to what I like to listen to. However, it's a little bit different. It's maybe a little bit more. I don't know. There are definitely some bands that I liked on the list that they had. They had like Periphery, Fit for a King, Volumes, and I think a few others, notable ones that I could think of. But definitely Fit for a King and Volumes. I kind of like Volumes, but I definitely like Fit for a King more, so that kind of caught my attention. But I'll just get into the first track, which is LXI. This is a cool little intro track. However, obviously doesn't offer too much in terms of just, length, but I feel like it kind of gives a good direction on how the rest of the album will sound. But obviously you can't go off of the whole album just by one track. So we'll move on to the second track, which it kind of leads into, which is called American Dream. They remind me a lot of this Rise band. They have broken up by this point now, but they're called Honor Crest. They remind me a lot of Honor Crest. I don't know if even if they're the same members, but it definitely has that Honor Crest sort of sound, as well as definitely Volumes. You could tell that that's a huge influence on them. I wouldn't necessarily Fit for King as much, more maybe more or less like just the breaks, like the breakdown parts and sort of those nature and that sort of nature. But however, I don't think that. I guess they have that sort of Fit for King vibe to them, but that's just my personal opinion. Getting back to the track, I don't know. This track just didn't really get me. Maybe it's just because I'm not that big of a Volumes fan. But it just didn't. To me, it just didn't feel. I just didn't really enjoy it too much. It just got this. I don't know. It just seemed very generic to me. And I understand that comes. A lot of bands have that sort of sound to them, and you could say that about Fit for King. You could say that about Volumes. You could say that about Honor Crest. You could say that about any band, really, for that matter, especially in that sort of pool. But yeah, I didn't really think too much of this track. I thought it was okay. Definitely was not one of my favorites on the list. However, I feel like it offers some more diversity to it, especially towards they have like this bridge part where it just cleans. I thought that was a little weird in my opinion. But overall, it wasn't one of my favorite tracks. But we'll move on to the track number 3, which is Contaminate. Um, really thought this track was okay as well. Just I don't know, something about this album just really didn't grab me as much as other albums have over this past year. But I thought it was pretty decent. Again, it comes and keeps with the same theme of that volume-esque sound. Um, I think it's impressive that their drummer actually does the clean vocals. I think that is a nice, cool selling point that makes them different. The guitars seemed, I don't know how to explain it. They just seem very like mishmash together, and especially after you listen to Slip, I think you'll understand what I mean. But they just seem like they were like just jumbled together. There's no very like I guess things that would make them stand out and stuff like that. I also feel like some of the just guitar parts in general seemed a little bit just basic and generic. But that's just my opinion. We'll move on to track number 4, which is Manifest. This one is when it starts to get better. I think Manifest is really when the EP starts to get a little bit better. I think this one's a great track as well. Again, I enjoy the screams on this. I think the screamer has, I guess, a distinct sort of scream to him. However, I feel like there's not enough diversity within the scream. It sounds great, but there's just no like highs, lows. I feel like it's very straightforward and sort of that direction. We'll move on to track number five, which is the Lender. I think this one, and Exist are the best tracks off this EP. I would not include Slip on this because it's technically not a part of it. But I think this one's another great track as well. I just like the guitar rhythm on this one for some reason. I still think that the whole EP as a whole seems very muddled. But I enjoyed this one as well. So we'll move on to track number six, which is Exist. I think this is by far the best track off the record, and I think it's a cool, good way to end the record. It does definitely remind me of like if Honor Crest and Volumes had like a baby, and this was the baby. I feel like this is the track for that. If you're gonna listen to Levels, I feel like this one's a good indication of how the sound's gonna evolve into, and I definitely think the guitar parts are excellent on this as well. Drumming's really cool. I like the cleans as well. I think they definitely have. I'm not trying to knock this band at all. I do like what they do. However, I feel like um, it's cool to give criticism, and hopefully they can learn from it maybe. But we'll move on to track number seven, which is the last track, which is called Slip. This was their single that they released, actually released a music video for that. So if I can find a link, I'll make sure to put it up in the eye. So go check that out, or put it in the description, or both. It will go somewhere. But I really enjoy this one. I like this one out of the whole album, without a doubt. If they're gonna continue going in that direction, I feel like that this will definitely set them apart. However, I still think it's generic. I just think it's different in a generic sort of way. The cleans are very cool. I think it has this cool kind of like dark undertone to it, which a lot of bands do have, but I feel like they take it in a different way. They add a lot of like electronic parts and stuff like that, so I think that's cool. But I definitely feel a Volumes vibe from that, and an Honor Crest vibe, the band that I've been mentioning a lot as of lately on this album. But some pros and cons of this record. Um, some pros. I do like how the end of the album sounds like Lenders, Exist, Slip. I think those tracks are the best tracks off this album. Um, I think it kind of picks up after Manifest, like I just mentioned. Some cons. I feel like at some points it gets very generic. I had listened to it probably around 10 times, give or take. And it just seemed very. I would just be listening to it, and it didn't seem like any track was standing out amongst the rest. Except for like the last few, obviously, that I mentioned. But to me, it just didn't seem like it grabbed me as much as it would. I think if it was a little bit more open. I love like bigger mixes, like larger mixes and stuff like that. So I feel like that's cool, as well as I feel like maybe some more lead parts or some more ambientness to it would be great. Or or the vocalist kind of breaks up, vocally how he sounds, or the screams sound different. I feel like if there was some sort of diversity in the album, I think it would have sounded much better. Like if they decided to go to a higher scream, or like like a more lower guttural sort of scream, I feel like that would just benefit this album so much more. Um, just in general. I think is a solid work for them being this first album and stuff like that. However, I think there's definitely some room to improve on, and I'm not trying to talk shit. I do like this band a lot. I just want them to, evolve their sound, and hopefully, they take my criticism with, you know, some regard. But I think overall, my rating for this record, I would have to give it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. It's not one of the worst things I've ever heard. However, I feel like there is definitely some room to improve. Um, I think it's it's definitely has potential. It has that same potential to compete with a Volumes or Honor Crest or bands in that similar sort of genre. I feel like they definitely have a different vibe to them that would make them stand out amongst bands like Volumes, bands like Honor Crest. So, um, hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. Hopefully you didn't think I went too harsh on it. But I just feel that, it just didn't really grab me as much. And if it was just a little bit more diverse and just maybe the breaks or something like that in the breakdowns or just breaks in the middle of the track or something like that to just kind of make it different, I feel like I would rate it a little bit higher and it would feel a little less, I guess, generic to me. But let me know in the comments if you checked it out, and what your thoughts on Levels are. I think they are a really solid band. However, I think they have some room to improve for sure. So, if you enjoy what I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button. And I'll be putting out that anticipated stuff hopefully tomorrow if I get the chance to. But my name is Brandon. I hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking to you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, of course. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.